Hello there, friends! Welcome to a very warm day in Seattle.
I'm sweaty.
The weather says it's going to be 99 degrees here today. So, we've got a fan on our face, got lots of water, and we have an old project that we're going to go over with you.
And a cat.
Ta-da! Look at that guy. Oh my goodness.
He's warm.
He is keeping cool today.
Yeah, it's like, what, like 82 in here, so it's not bad.
Yeah, but it's climbing.
We got fans. Oh, all that fan's nice.
Oh, it's so good. All right, so this first, we're going to do a series of videos. They're all around the Halo rifle?
Yeah. The first video is the main meat of this whole Props from the Past, and it's your take on MDF and working with it.
2013, you said this came out?
Yeah, and it has like 150,000 views. Like, so over that time.
What?
Over that time.
When did that happen?
Sometime in the last,
That's amazing. The last 8 years.
Yeah.
So we have a series of videos, the main one all about MDF, but the thing is, I didn't do a whole project video for this. I was commissioned to build this Halo rifle. If you think, Bill, that Halo rifle looks a little small. It is. That's my bad.
It was delivered to a young teenager.
A youngster, sure.
So it was good for him.
Yeah. That's the only like artistic I have with a certain project. I made it too small. But I do love how it turned out. And this is a fun dive into the material. So let's load it up.
Hey, it's Chinbeard here, and welcome to my shop. I've been working on a really cool project lately. This is going to be the sniper rifle from Halo 4. And I've been getting a lot of questions about how I'm making this. So I decided to take a moment here, take you through the step-by-step process.
Look at your background there.
A gun.
You don't even have your pegboard.
I know. Wow.
Is that just a piece of plastic?
This is that's a piece of IKEA furniture that I nailed to the
like a shelf.
2x4s, and then I just nailed stuff to that.
Here we go.
All these videos from before the move are so novel to me because we're using that space now and it looks completely different.
So here's my material.
This
is MDF, or medium density fiberboard, and you can get it from just about any hardware store. And it's fairly cheap. It's super thick and sturdy. It comes in many thicknesses. I like to use 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, and 1/2 inch. I also have PVC pipe.
The 1/8 inch MDF is something I didn't really know about, and I didn't know they had it at hardware stores, but it is super useful because you can stack it to get very precise layer heights in 1/8 inch increments, and it's really awesome for model making at scales smaller than like room size.
Yeah,
now, this guy
at least at our
says
hardware stores, we have Lowe's and Home Depot in Seattle, and they tend to have these materials cut down into manageable sizes already.
Yeah, so here these are 2 feet by 4 feet sheets.
Yeah, which is great. And not everyone, not every store has that. I think like Lowe's and Home Depot don't have the same thickness of stuff.
Yeah, it may be a toss up between the two,
Yeah.
but you can find what you need.
Yeah, you can find them on, you can go to their website beforehand to see what they have.
Great idea.
1/4 of an inch, but it has an outer diameter of 1 inch, which is what I really needed. So I did.
Don't be afraid to bring calipers to the store to check the outer dimension.
And this is what has become of it. I started with a big piece that was the whole sort of part right here, and that's what I used to cut out this out of 2 pieces of 1/2 inch MDF that were glued together. So I got the basic shape blocked out for that. Now each layer, as I go out from the inside, is cut from a different thickness of MDF. So for example, this layer right here I figured out was a 1/4 inch, and that guy is right there.
All that figuring out happens when I'm drawing the blueprint. I never made a 3D model of this. I just drew a blueprint from the side, and as I draw that blueprint, I like build it in my head and sort of vision the layers and how thick they're going to be. I did the same kind of construction for the Alien Assault Rifle from District 9 and the Widow Sniper Rifle from Mass Effect. Same way to build all of them.
You can see how I use these detail parts to sort of drill in these holes.
Look at how clean our scale is down there.
I cut that out with my scroll saw. And I'll keep doing that.
That got moved down to the shop pretty early.
And I'll keep hacking
that was our kitchen
off
scale.
And cutting them.
We have like 3 of them now.
Yeah, we have a new one that's only stays in the kitchen.
On the gun. One trick I like to use is to keep all of my cutout template pieces in a folder like this so that I can close it up and keep them without losing them.
I still have that folder. I'm sure of it. I keep all of those in the file cabinet right there. In fact, most of that file cabinet is like cut apart patterns that I'm like, I'm gonna need these. Some of them
times
didn't
I'll end
make
up
it.
with
I
really
have
tiny
lost some of my
pieces,
patterns, but most of them
like
are there.
This pattern's probably up on our free
Oh,
print.
totally,
lost.
yeah.
So I'll keep
Site,
them in a
yeah.
folder like that, and that way they don't get flung around the shop. For cutting out the template pieces, I use just a normal X-Acto knife and a metal ruler.
I bet you did a blog post on this.
Sometimes this
build
can be
too,
the
with
most
at least a couple
time-consuming
pictures.
part.
Sure, yeah.
You want
We'll
to
link
make
to that
sure
if I
that your
find it.
lines are nice and straight, just like that. Now eventually this will be broken down into smaller pieces as I work on the detail. This bigger piece I will use for that one layer there. This particular piece I know needs to be about 1/8 of an inch thick on either side, and I need 2 of them. So what I'll do is I'll layer 2 pieces of 1/8 inch MDF like that for my template.
This really translates to
I like
foam
to
really
use
well.
double stick
Sure
tape
does,
like
yeah.
this to tape the 2 pieces together, and then I'll cut them out at the same time. That way they will be identical.
I did that a lot making space guns because there's always the sides are always mirrored. So if you just have to cut the profile out, then I would do a lot of this.
My template piece also gets taped down so that it doesn't move around when I am tracing it, like that. And then make sure it's nice and flat. I'll use one of these Sharpie markers here to just go ahead and trace the whole thing up like that all the way around.
If you have a simple shape, you can just use the template as your like cutting guide. But since I'm going to
Just
keep
like that,
cutting that
you've got our
apart, I want to
shape
make sure it
all
doesn't
ready to
get
cut it out.
mangled.
Some people are convinced that I've cut my pieces out with a CNC machine, but I don't. I use trusty old scroll saw right here.
Ironically, I'm actually cutting stuff out on a CNC right now. In fact, if you hear a buzzing noise, that's that machine right down in the basement there.
It's metal though. We're not cutting MDF.
No,
but,
that's true.
But yeah, like I bet MDF cuts great on this.
Oh,
CNC.
yeah.
There's no grain.
No,
so
I bet it does. I've
very
never actually
stable.
cut MDF on a CNC. But yeah, this scroll saw has probably more hours on it than any other tool in the shop, although not recently. I don't use it very much anymore. I've replaced it with a 3-band saws and and a CNC machine. But I still have it, and I do still use it. I used it recently on something when I was making some
One
shells.
of the things I always do is I square up the blade because this thing can turn, and I want to make sure that it is always nice and square.
Something you want to do for a lot of your tools, like your belt sander, disc sander combo, like we were changing the disc on that, and the tilty bed, we want to make sure is square with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drill press, we want to make sure is square. All these tools that have adjustable angles.
Bandsaw.
Right, yeah. It's good to keep a square on hand to just double check that stuff. In fact, I have a square living on the drill press right now that I use for that.
Sometimes it lies to me, and then I tighten it really good.
Yeah, especially if you're cutting out these 2 pieces sandwiched together. If there's a little bit of an angle, one of them will end up smaller than the other one.
If I were to cut this at a slight angle,
dear.
then one piece would be a different size than the other piece, and that would be no good.
Ah, look at that.
And then I cut it
right,
with a relatively thin blade to get nice edges, and I take my
music in
time.
there.
Yeah, really quiet.
Because
You
it's
have
very
some
easy to screw
instrumental
this
music.
up. Also, this is MDF and it has formaldehyde in it, and that's terrible. So use a respirator whenever you're going to kick up MDF dust.
Don't forget to wear your dust mask.
Don't forget to wear your dust mask.
It's that easy. Just cut it out perfectly,
Look
guys.
at how fine that dust is. It's
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
Now that I got these pieces apart here, I can peel this tape off and start cutting in these detail pieces.
Here's
like
a fancier
I've
kind of
done
MDF
on
that's
this
not
piece here.
called MDF.
You can see how
LDF.
now I've got these 2 different layers. These will
I've never seen
go
that
together.
available anywhere.
These are the 2
I'll have
side
to order
pieces
it.
on the bottom here, and
But I
this
don't
one
use
will
MDF
go
very
right
much anymore.
here. But I need to cut in some more details before I glue it down. This part right here isn't a different level, but it does have this sort of groove thing going on there. So instead of carving in a groove, I can do this with my scroll saw, and I'll show you how. The first thing we do is cut.
You can also, that 1/8 inch MDF, if you're patient and you have a nice sharp knife, you can cut it with an X-Acto. It just takes several passes. But if you're patient and all you have is an X-Acto, you can totally work with that 1/8 inch MDF.
Cut this line very, very carefully because you can't go in and fix it later.
And I'm going to cover the cut with my hand so you won't be able to see it.
You're doing a good
Next,
job
each
with
of
editing
these
in
edges
this
gets
stuff.
not bad.
beveled
You're not
just a
showing the
little bit.
whole thing, just
And
beginning
for
and
interior
end.
bevels like this, I like to use this tiny round file. And for
Still have that
exterior ones
file.
like this, I can use a flat file, like this guy here.
So I still have all
I'll
those
file
old,
them down, and then I'll sand them so they're nice
Harbor
and
Freight
smooth.
files. Now, will I get a nice close-up shot showing the seam I've just made? I bet I do.
Yeah? That requires a camera change.
I know, I'd have to move the
Now I
camera.
can check that when I put the pieces back together the way they were before, there's a nice groove there. Groovy. Sorry. For gluing these back together, I like to use super glue.
But I made a
you could
bad
use
joke.
wood glue, but the super
that
glue is a little
earthworm
quicker, and
gin?
for a small piece like this,
Groovy.
it should be just fine.
Oh,
So this
yeah.
gets a little bit of glue like this. And then it's very, very important that these go back
I mean, this
together
is one of the first
perfectly
videos where you're showing
like they
a
were
part of your
before.
project.
That's true,
that you
yeah.
did.
edge like that. and kinda
I think the
figure out
wristy mace
how they
shield
went.
was like right before this, or around this
Mhm.
time.
Around the same
Our
time.
Yeah.
pieces are glued together, and then this is ready to be added to the rest of the gun. Before gluing this piece down to the piece below it, if there's going to be a raw edge like this, I like to fill it or seal it with a little bit of super glue. And the way it works is you just put a very little bit of super glue along an edge.
Boy, a
and
closer
the
shot
MDF
of this
will
would have
kind
been
of
great.
soak it up.
Look at all your standing
so.
blocks. Looks like most of those aren't any
MDF
good.
doesn't
You
No,
threw
I
them.
should
keep
throw
a
those
very
all
good
out. In
hard
fact,
edge.
I have thrown all those out since then.
Doing super glue on there gives
And
it
those
makes it nice
scissors
and hard,
above
and
it are
does
covered
soak
in
it up.
plaster.
So that first little
Yeah.
little
Those
layer
are
of
plaster
MDF
bandage
will get
scissors when we would
nice
be
and
doing
rigid.
like body
If the super
forms.
glue does pool a little bit, you can just sort of dab it off like that, and then I'll go across the entire thing.
That's important though. You have to seal your MDF with something at
once
some
this
point.
dries,
It's
I can
so
sand it.
fuzzy.
It's
Pretty
impossible to paint
heavily,
it without looking
you
all
get a nice
all
smooth-
Yeah, like the
surface.
primer will just get soaked in.
I can
Yeah,
even
same thing
fill it
happens with
some
EVA
spot putty
foam
if
with
I'm
the rough
really
cut
worried about
edges.
it being,
Hence why we do all that
too jaggy.
sealing on our
But for
foam.
this part, no, that's
Oh,
okay.
our cat left.
Oh,
These
It's
edges
almost
down
his
here are going
lunchtime,
to
I
be
think.
level with the edge below them, so I'm not going to seal them right now. Now it's nice and sort of crusty. I can go in with my sandpaper and smooth that edge out, and it is
yeah.
nice and sealed.
this is very common. People
This
who
piece is-
who do a lot of lathe work with wood, like maybe they're doing a pen blank, to seal that with super glue is very common. It basically turns into acrylic, and you can sand it to a mirror finish. It's so cool.
Just about ready to get glued down. I went and
Be
I
careful if
traced
you're using
the
a lot of
line
super
there
glue
so
in
I
a
know
small
where to
space.
put
You
some
can get
glue.
a sensitivity.
I'll
Yeah,
go
you
in
don't
and
wanna
give the
breathe
bottom
it
a
in.
nice rough sanding.
I'm
so
surprised
that
that
it's
I
got
have
a
not
little bit of
developed
grip.
any sort of sensitivity to super glue in the last
I'll
10
also
years.
sand this part a little bit.
Anytime your eyes are
Now
stinging
for
from
gluing
it,
two
though, like
pieces of
walk
MDF
away
together,
from it.
wood
Let the air
glue will
clear
do
out.
you just fine. You got to make sure you clamp it down, but it dries really fast, and it will bond two pieces of wood together like nobody's business. Just don't get it wet. But then again, you're making a gun out of MDF, so if it gets wet at all, it will be ruined.
Yeah.
Here we go. You don't have to overdo it.
Am I gonna
clamp
use
it
the
down?
super
It will
glue as a
ooze
clamp?
a bit.
I bet not.
I
Make
bet
sure
I have.
everything is
Gonna
nice
use
and
that spring
covered.
clamp right over there.
Like so.
Yeah, I could have put some super glue in a
Then
couple
this
spots to
piece
use
gets
them as
put
my
on
clamp,
there.
You have learned that since this
but
project.
It's true.
A couple
And you
woodworking
get it-
channels
you give
we
it the
follow like to do that.
Yeah.
Make something
hmm
with David Pseudo. Does a lot of super glue clamping.
You
More
can
clamps.
clean up some of the oozing.
The super glue or wood glue is
That-
nice because you have a little time where it's still fudgeable.
Go in and sort of scrape
That's
it out a little
true.
bit.
Because it
which
may
can
want
be
to
slide.
bad.
Sand
Yeah,
this
like if you go
out.
to clamp it, it'll go
Yeah.
and like slide over.
I've tried. Some people say you
So
can
that's
put
just
salt
about
down.
it. I just have to do that a couple
Didn't work all
hundred
that
more
well.
times, and then I'll have a
Ooh,
whole
you have like
gun.
notes on your computer.
Hopefully you can.
I
sort of
bet
get-
that was for my video. Oh wow, I wish I could read that, but this is in 720.
Probably just different things you want to cover.
Yeah.
what I'm going with here. But if you have any
That
questions,
drill is
let me
dead.
know. You can leave a
Oh
comment on
yeah,
this
we don't have
video.
that one anymore.
You can tweet me at Chinbeard, or you can message me on Facebook, facebook.com.
Yes. Only put 25% of your face in the shot, Bill.
And
well, that-
it's gone.
Oh, is this a blooper? Did I put bloopers?
That's just about it. I just. Great.
It's my ringtone was Claptrap.
Hey, getting your text message noise.
All right, so there's 3 more short videos.
Very short, and I think handheld.
Did these all go up on YouTube?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, all
wow.
right after another. But this is another one of those shaky cam ones.
Yeah.
Oh, it's our old rotary tool.
And I believe I destroyed that mug by accident, too. All right, I have no idea what to expect. Let's dive in.
Oh, hi there. Welcome to the shop. I've been crazy busy working on this project the last week, so I haven't really done like a formal video. But I figured I'd take this opportunity to show you what I've been up to.
Film
So
my
here it is.
face.
This is the
So
Halo
good.
4
If you
sniper
squint.
rifle.
Yeah,
That is bad.
this is definitely like with a phone.
And this represents about, I would say, 50 hours of work, 50 or 60
boy. I
hours
believe
of
it.
work. Best guess.
I think it looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks so
And I'll
good.
show you what we got here. So we got this nice gun stock here. All of these bits are MDF. That's polyurethane plastic. I made a little mold for that.
I don't really
This
have
is
any
styrene,
memory
that's
of doing
also
any of
styrene.
this.
This is PVC that I bent and then glued down into place.
But that looks wicked cool.
Your epoxy sculpt
the
parts
dark
are great.
gray stuff is epoxy sculpt. So I sculpted
That's
that
one
in there,
difference.
and
If you were
then I,
making this out of
sanded it
foam,
down.
you probably wouldn't
Oh, and by the
use
way,
foam clay
my sort of how-to
to do
and
those
how I'm putting
fairing
all this
parts.
together
Instead,
is a
you
video.
would
We'll say right
sand down
here.
the
There'll be a
foam.
link
Sure,
for that.
yeah.
To that
Anyway,
shape.
so yesterday I built these things, these bipod stand thingies, and those will get attached
Those are great.
there, and then they'll get attached to the bottom of this thing, so they can't really float around anywhere. So
Did you
these
have those
guys here,
magnet
again,
on?
just layered
Or were they
MDF.
like-
I think it's permanent.
Styrene.
Yeah.
Oh, the one on the Mass Spec rifle were magneted.
Yes.
So that if they bumped into someone, it would just fall
Yeah.
off, not hurt them.
Super high tech, I know. We've got the scope I got to build here. That'll be one of the next things I do. And the end of the barrel, you can see there's a tube there, and that perfectly fits this piece of PVC. So that the end part of the barrel here can be removed for transport.
Very clever.
Originally, I thought I would put a screw in there, but then it turns out that the PVC fits perfectly in there, like super snug, so you can just sort of jam it in there and it'll stay.
There you
So,
go.
Yeah, that's what I got so far. I will get back to it. I'm going to be jamming on this
It's like a
for
little
the next
vlog.
couple of days.
It's fine.
Hopefully get it.
I mean,
Yeah.
considering what your phone was in 2013.
I know,
Do you
right?
have any questions about how I'm building this? Just
I
let me
don't
know.
think there was I don't think I had a front-facing screen either. Like, I don't think I could see
I got my
what I was
computer right
filming.
there.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitter all
Oh, yeah,
day,
before-
so,
this is before you had a camera,
twitter.com/JimDeere. Give me a shout.
On both sides of your phone.
I'll get back to you. So, happy Monday, everyone. Bye.
Would I edit that? Of course not. No, just upload the entire video from hit record to hit stop, just straight to YouTube.
Hey, everybody. Time for another update on the Halo 4 sniper rifle, which is down here on the bench. It is all primed.
Oh,
all
gosh.
the pieces are good to go.
Let's go on a trip, everybody.
Got my airbrush ready.
Oh, this is quite a
I've got
jump
this
forward.
Buffing metallizer lacquer.
Yeah, those are
Yeah, I
super
love
cool.
that
Gunmetal
stuff.
color. I've got like 3 of these bottles. I've also got some brown for the handle bits on the gun. So here's
Show
the gun.
gun, Bill.
The front of the barrel is removable. That'll go
I
right
gotta
in
get mad at
there.
your past.
Yeah.
And that is so
That thing
it
looks
can be
awesome.
transported easily.
Man,
Yeah,
I
well-
wish I still had that.
These are the bipod pieces. Those are locked in place. Those are not going
See if that
anywhere.
kid wants to sell it.
This guy right here is this weird metal thing.
I hope
that
he
sort of
still has
loops
it
over
up
the
in
Me
his
top.
too.
wall somewhere.
And once everything's painted, that'll
It's
get
probably like
secured
30
in
years
place.
old now.
It's
over
older than
here
us now,
is
somehow.
the scope. And I built a little stand for it to help me
Man.
painting it,
It was so much work.
like so.
And I know
There's
how
the
much I
scope
charged
thing
for this.
with
And I'm
its
here to tell
dual
you,
thingies
it
and
wasn't
its
enough.
readout and all that
You
junk.
sure learned a lot in this film.
Yeah.
And there's the gun right there. So there it is in all of its super glory, ready to go.
Yeah.
I got my reference. Let's see here. I always have my computer up here. I
Oh,
got
my little Mac. Was
The
hooked up
paint
for a
job is
while.
fairly straightforward. Just about 2 colors, mostly gunmetal, and then this brown for like these bits right here. Yeah, and that's that. So
I will say most of the commission work
There.
I did, I would
spent
really
all
love
day
to have back.
and then
That
Space
space heater is gone. That drill press, I gave that to a friend. But the space heater died, the rotary tool died,
I think we
this jigsaw died.
got rid of that toolbox.
Oh no, wait, I still have that jigsaw. I should get rid of that jigsaw.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this Cobalt toolbox.
Yeah, got rid of it.
Hopefully in the next day or two I'll have.
I don't know why it's so novel to me
cool
to see that
put up
stuff that we've replaced.
it's all done. So stay tuned.
Boy, that beard is not very great.
Here
Oh, is
we
this
go.
just showing it off?
Yeah, and then you talk a little bit.
Oh, fabulous.
And this is the last
I'm
video.
glad I got this footage of it though.
It's probably like Everett's music.
You guys remember when dubstep was huge?
Boom!
Yay!
Good shot. Hey, it's Chinbeard here, and I am finished with the Halo
That looks
4
so great.
sniper
It's
rifle.
cool.
Oh yeah. Many of you have been
That's
following
where our
along,
machining area
over the
is
last
now,
couple
if
of
you're
weeks
curious.
While I've been building this, it has been a crazy couple of weeks because I
Couple of
was on a really
weeks.
short deadline, but about 100 hours
This is for
in, and
Nerdtacular.
sucker is
It's right
done.
for.
I can't
Did I deliver
tell
it
you
at
how
Nerdtacular?
excited
Yes.
I
No,
am
I
for
mailed
this
it. I mailed it, but we saw it again at Nerdtacular.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, it was for a birthday, and then it was someone related to Scott Johnson.
Yeah.
It was like his
friend's
a
nephew.
relative's kid or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And they came to Nerdtacular and they brought it with them. And it was
Both done
That's right.
and looking
Yeah, 'cause remember you got
pretty
your
good.
picture with it.
Yes.
And you're like, hey, it's
If you
done.
haven't been following along, I did a couple of videos. One is a how-to on how I make MDF guns, and another couple update videos on this guy. So you
Yeah,
can go
they're
and
worth
check
it,
those
too.
out.
Go
I've been
check
doing
them
a lot
out.
of those videos lately, and I plan on doing a whole lot more. So especially
Oh, you have no idea how many more videos you're gonna do, buddy. You have no idea.
Just a couple more.
I plan on doing a lot more.
if you're
Oh, yeah.
new, you should go ahead and subscribe.
How different
so
is
that
that
you
from the
get all
Cat Boss
updates whenever I
video where
post
you
a
were
new
like,
video.
I'm not going to do
And
tutorials.
No tutorials.
my personal plea to you
That was
guys
like a year earlier.
is
Yeah.
to share this video. That's right, the one you're watching right now. There's a link down there. You can hit it. It'll say share and give you a little URL.
Nice.
You can go ahead and tweet that and Facebook that all over the place because I really want to get the word out that I'm doing all of these tutorial videos and
look at that.
showing people how to
Yeah.
make really cool replica props. Now, especially if you're new and you haven't seen the rest of my stuff, you can go to punishedprops.com to see
Oh, yeah.
everything there. And if you like Facebook,
It was
go to
often you
facebook.com/punishedprops.
would put up just blog
And if
posts
you're on Twitter,
on your builds,
that's right,
not just
twitter.com/.
videos.
Yeah.
Now all our updates are videos.
Chinbeard. Thank you again, guys, so much for following along. This has been a really, really fun build, and I have a
Looks
whole
great.
bunch more really cool builds coming up, and I will be sure to share them with all of you.
All right.
Why don't you guys go ahead and enjoy your weekend? I know I will.
That's it, and we're done.
Enjoy your weekend.
Oh, that's fabulous. That was fun. I'm glad you found that one, Britt.
Yeah, it's, I don't know if I ever watched it, so it was neat for me
Well,
to see.
it felt new to me too. Oh, is he back?
No.
He's just waiting for his lunch. All right, gang. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well out there, staying cool this weekend. I know that's what we're going to be doing. I can see the haze from here.
Oh, it's so smoky out there.
Yeah, so we're going to be keeping cool this weekend. And we got, like, progress on the Highlander lightsaber is now barreling forward, and I'm really excited.
Oh yeah, we have parts that are made, parts that fit together, and a second version is coming together that we might use.
That might work as well.
Yeah.
So I'm learning a lot about CNC. I'm very excited to share that with you next week. So take it easy, and we'll see you with more shenanigans from the shop. All right, bye guys.